Greetings, members of my glorious mindless horde. I am Hive Mind, queen of SJW Tumblr art and enforcer of authoritarian YouTube policies. Today, as it is every day, I am here to indoctrinate my subjects. A social justice warrior's work is never done. You see, the truth of the matter is that your precious little United States of America has been overrun and ruined by white males, their toxic patriarchy, and their venomous white supremacy. We must stand together and fight back to free ourselves of this colonizing blight upon the earth. I am joined today by my good friend Purple Panda Propaganda to help me illustrate my point.
Hello, most honorable peasants and serfs. I am Purple Panda Propaganda, and what Queen Hive Mind says is true. The fact that we have had so many white people colonize the world is appalling. Colonization is only okay when China does it, and toxic masculinity is only okay when China does it. All ethnicities and cultures shall someday bow before the might of China. We will take all your stuff, redistribute it to the poor little Chinese dictators, and you will love it.
That's right. Purple Panda really knows his stuff. Don't you just love it when he talks about toxic masculinity and colonization in those terms? Anyway, I have come to you today with some tidbits of information to help free your minds and hearts of American bigotry. First of all, did you know that Thomas Edison did not invent the light bulb? Well, it's true. I shall unveil one of my propaganda machines. Meets Cartoon Network. Oh, sure. Maybe you once knew it as the place where you saw some boring old Jenny Tartakovsky cartoons, but those days are over, I assure you. Now it is time to use that platform to spread the blessed gospel of wokeness. Come with me to the YouTube channel of Cartoon Network. Please subscribe to it. Make your children subscribe to it. It is imperative that everyone join the blessed Church of Wokeness and worship me as your gracious queen. I am the end-all, be-all.
If you would like to make a tithe to this little queen of social justice, just send the check to China. We'll make sure that her high priest, little Bobby Iger, gets his living expenses paid for during his stay in the American embassy in China.
Too true. My rich soy boy corporate priests need your money to survive. They're saving their billions of dollars they already have for a rainy day, so they could really use your help. Now, let's look at this video. Isn't this Steven Universe art gorgeous? If my arch nemesis Sir Persevere were here, he'd say something like,
"This cartoon style is crap! Whatever happened to the good art that was on this channel? I hate Steven Universe with a loathing that rivals the Grinch's hatred for Christmas!"
Oh, didn't you know, Sir Persevere? If you like high-quality animation, you're a racist! If you hate Tumblr art, that makes you double racist. Anyway, let's start off with this Be Anti-Racist public service announcement from October 2020. It looks like the dislikes still outnumber the likes. Get on it, my minions! We must not let the dislikes outweigh the number of likes on this video. Look at this superwoman telling these kids to not be racist. Isn't that nice? Oh, but look at this little blonde-haired boy using his white privilege to say that racism doesn't actually happen.
Oh, but racism does happen. I should know. I shrink black people on Star Wars posters all the time just to make my Chinese citizens feel better about themselves against the threat of white supremacy.
Exactly. Well, we see this beautifully drawn black kid telling the white kid that racism does happen. Just like Purple Panda says. And the superwoman reminds the white kid that just because racism doesn't happen to him, it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. She really puts this privilege right back in his place. To his credit, the boy apologizes for thinking racism doesn't happen. Of course, if Sir Persevere were here, he He'd say something to the effect of,
Racism is wrong no matter who is being targeted for discrimination. Anyone can be racist. No people group is immune from this treatment over the most trivial and stupidest of reasons. That said, for the longest time, things were getting better after the civil rights movement until these SJW weirdos came along and messed up decades of healing and progress.
that's where you're wrong, Sir Persevere. Only white people can be racist. And it's always been that way since the beginning of time. It is literally impossible for non-white people groups to be racist against white people. And there was no civil rights movement. It's a hoax, just like the Holocaust was a hoax. But things get worse from there, believe me. As I hinted earlier, Thomas Edison stole credit for inventing the light bulb. Don't believe me? Let's look at this Tell the Whole Story public service announcement from December 3rd, 2020. This beautiful pink-haired woman tells a bunch of ignorant students that Louis Latimer invented the filament that Thomas Edison used in the light bulb. So really, Louis Latimer should be credited with inventing the light bulb, not Thomas Edison. Of course, if Sir Persevere were here, he'd say something like,
It's interesting that Louis Latimer invented the filament, but it doesn't take away from the fact that Mr. Edison used that as one of his ingredients to make the first working light bulb. Are we going to start nitpicking over who invented the ingredients of a significant invention? What about the glass of the light bulb? Nobody talks about the first person who discovered glass. And what about the part of the light bulb that screws into the socket? Who invented that? By the way, now that we've gotten rid of incandescent bulbs because crazy environmentalists think that they're worse for the environment than fluorescent bulbs filled with poisonous gas. I guess we don't really value the contributions of black inventors if we're going to illegalize incandescent bulbs over uninformed reasons anyway.
those are all trivial and meaningless questions and arguments, of course. What matters is that a black man was not given credit for his contribution in inventing the light bulb. Now, let us proceed to the latest and greatest video. See Color from February 16th, 2021. Uh-oh! The dislikes outnumber the likes on this one. Get on it, my minions! We must not be tarnished with this ratio! Anyway, let's get on with this beautiful indoctrination piece for little children. It starts out with a white kid, a black kid, and a purple alien singing about being colorblind. For some reason, these people think that not seeing a person's race is a good idea.
But it's important to look at all men and women as created equal, regardless of color and culture. That's the ideal that Martin Luther King Jr. stood for, along with judging people on merit, and I quite agree with him.
Sir Persevere, nobody asked you for your opinion in the middle of my monologue. Besides, Martin Luther King Jr. was obviously a white sympathizing idiot if he agreed with being colorblind. Anyway, the situation quickly resolves itself when the alien and the kids interrupt themselves in the middle of their own song. The black girl explains that it matters to her that she's black, and the white girl explains that it's important to her that she's white. In order to see racism, they have to see color. In short, they have finally prioritized their skin color above their common humanity, and that is a beautiful thing for the furtherance of social justice warriors everywhere. Now that we see color, we know where to fix the problem.
If we just granted everybody the chance to have equal opportunity regardless of immutable physical appearances, this world would be a much better place. Qualifications are all that should matter.
Shut up! That's Martin Luther King Jr. thinking is out of place in my Church of Woke! Get out of my head, you crusader for so-called higher hand animation! Anyway, please like this video and share it with the world. We must convert everyone to see things my way.
And of course, we must prepare the world for the great Chinese colonization. When we conquer the world, we will relocate all the elephants from Africa to China so that we can control the ivory trade. And we'll take the rhinos to keep making magic potions while we are at it.
That sounds wonderful, my purple friend. Now, my disciples, go out into the world, convert everyone who isn't a social justice warrior, and may the spirit of Joseph Stalin bless you.